Hi guys. I'm coming to you from my living room floor because yes, I'm quarantined, but it's fine. I'm doing great. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. I do want to talk to you guys about youth group last Sunday. How cool is that? That in the midst of all the things happening in the world right now, we were still able to meet and gather. Um, to have conversation and hear like some really good truth. So I thought that was really awesome. If you missed it, if you were not able to be there, good news. Everything is on our channel. You can go back and watch 3D from last week. And I want to personally invite you to join us again this week, same time, same place on Instagram, 6 o'clock on Sunday night. Please, please come. I think it's going to be really, really good. But if you did watch last week, then you know that we kicked off our new series called Culture Shock. And if you don't know what this means, it basically means that we're talking about living counterculturally. So we're talking about not living by the world standard and what the world tells us to do, but we're living by God's standard. We're living by truth and by what God asks of us. So Sarah Kinzer led us in our first night last week, and I loved how she started. She started off by explaining what this idea of living counterculturally means. She said, living counterculturally asks, am I being who God created me to be? So in my home, am I being who God created me to be? In my school, am I being who God created me to be? With my friends, am I being who God created me to be? These are all really, really good and important questions for us, but she talked specifically about social media. So on all of my social media platforms, am I being who God created me to be? And what she had to say was so good and true. But before we get into that, let me just give a little side note here. Sarah Kinzer is on TikTok. I'm not. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not versed in it. But I thought that her TikToks were like actually really good. And sorry if you heard my text message thing on my computer. Anyways, I was really impressed by her TikToks. I loved it. I thought she did great. Side note, one of her TikToks was in a car, but she was not driving, okay? I watched the trees. They were not moving. So that video did not give you guys permission to TikTok and drive, okay? And that's just like a free piece of advice. Take it, put it in your pocket, tuck it away, hold on to it. It's a good one. Don't TikTok and drive. Don't do anything on your phone and drive. That's all. Back to Culture Shock. Okay, so I wish I could talk about everything Sarah said, but we just don't have that much time. So I am going to cover the last three things she really talked about. At the end of her talk, Sarah gave these three like really practical things that I think are really helpful in this conversation surrounding social media and living counterculturally. And so to end her whole message, she said, these are the three things we can take away. One, recognize when it shouldn't be this way. So when you're on social media, when you're scrolling through posts and watching things, or even posting things, recognize when what we're consuming or posting shouldn't be the way that it is. Recognize when it's not reflective of who God is. And then she says, ask yourself, okay, well, how would God want this to be? And so she's not just saying recognize when it shouldn't be like this and put it on a shelf somewhere. She's saying recognize when it's not right and ask yourself, how would God actually want it to be? But then she says even more, act accordingly. So don't just recognize when it shouldn't be like this. And don't just ask how God would want it to be, but act accordingly to how he would want it to be. Live in that truth and obedience. So those are three really easy things that we can all do as we navigate the social media thing. It's really helpful and it's really important. And finally, I just want to encourage you guys before I jump off of here, because I get that the world is a little bit crazy right now. So I just want to encourage you guys and tell you that this is what I know to be true, that God has most certainly gone before us, that He is present in the midst of this, and He has not lost sight of us. So I pray that you know His peace today, that you feel it. And I pray that He is so real to you. Listen, I really am praying for you guys. I love you guys. I miss you guys. And I really, really can't wait to do Youth Group again with you on Instagram on Sunday night. So I hope to see you there.